Hello everyone, my name is Bellinor and welcome back to learning how to play Minecraft on the Bedrock Edition. We survived our very first night and now it's time to venture back out into the world. Something to think about whenever you've been hiding in your little spot is some of the monsters out here may still be here in the morning. Now, there are certain monsters that will burn during the daylight, and there's certain monsters that will not. So just keep that in mind. So whenever you come out and it's daylight, it may or may not be safe in your immediate surroundings, so it would probably be wise to take a quick look around just to double check. So what we're going to work on today is food. So we mentioned before that we have hunger that we have to manage during this game. Well, how do you get hungry? You get hungry by using energy when you're fighting. So swinging your sword and things around, chopping down trees and all that good stuff. And also sprinting. So you can sprint in this game. I would definitely double check your controls and see what it takes to sprint in your version of the game. But if you sprint a lot, then you'll see that you'll get hungry. So if we just do a little bit of running around here, you're going to see fairly quickly that my hunger is going to start to go down, which means that we need food. Well, what kind of food can we eat? The easiest early game food is from farming. So basically, we are going to make some farmland. Make sure you have some sticks and some stone. And we're going to create a stone hoe. Now you can see that I did go ahead and make the full set of stone tools here. Alright, so we've got our stone hoe. The next thing we need is seeds. I have no seeds. Seeds come from grass, so there's a small chance that punching a seed, whether with an empty hand or with a tool, preferably not with a tool that breaks, okay? So I usually just prefer to use an open hand. And you can do that by moving something from your hotbar up into your inventory. That way you have some empty slots. So punching grass yields a chance to get seeds. So you just punch these tall patches of grass. We're just going to keep doing that until we get several seeds. Okay, we got our first seed. So what I'm holding here is a seed. It's just called seed, but really what it makes is wheat. Okay, now we have 8 seeds. I'm going to head back over to where we hang out in our little hideaway hole. In order to create your first farm, we're going to use the hoe to make farmland. And we're going to plant the seeds. Well, what do the seeds need to grow? The seeds are going to need light and water. So ideally, you would just plant some seeds along the edge of a nearby water source. Eventually, you can craft buckets and you can put water wherever you would like. But for now, we don't have that kind of resources. So we're just going to take advantage of the water that's already nearby. So what I would like for you to do is grab your hoe and you are going to use it on the farmland. I want you to create about 4 because from this water source, you can go about 4 deep and it will hydrate this farmland. And that's what we want because that makes seeds grow faster. Then I'm going to skip a row and I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to throw a torch down right here. Now, you can just grab the seeds and place them in the farmland. Notice if you try to place it on regular grass, it doesn't do anything. Okay. Now, if you were to go out further from the water, these will not be hydrated, but I'll show you the difference whenever these actually hydrate. Here you can see that this piece of land is hydrated. It's a lot darker in color to the other land. So over here, This one will never hydrate, so it went ahead and turned back into regular dirt. And you'll notice that if you... Oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This sixth one is actually hydrated. Well, that sort of disproves what we were talking about earlier now, doesn't it? Anyway, we'll check on this here in a little bit. I see that we have some visitors over here. You might see some folks pop up on your screen and wonder what in the world these guys are. These are friendly, so don't worry. As long as you don't attack, they won't attack back. This is a wandering trader. He will trade items. So he'll trade emeralds. He wants your emeralds. In exchange, he'll give you these items. We do not have any emeralds yet, but I just wanted to show you that this guy's pretty cool. He's nice. He's not going to do anything to you. Eventually, he'll go away, so it's no big deal. I can see a sheep over there. I'm going to try to grab that. I definitely like to get to the point where we can just sleep through the night. I don't want to have to worry about monsters. So this is interesting because this one is hydrated. I'm kind of curious why this one didn't hydrate. We'll just do another test right here and see what happens. See, I went on the wiki and I read up how this would work because I just wanted to confirm that I had the correct information, but apparently now after my experiment to show you guys what to do, it is incorrect. So I'm just trying to figure out what is accurate information so that we're talking about accurate and good information. So if you guys are tired of the whole locking yourself away inside dirt, you can make a door. There's all kinds of doors in this game, but we're just going to use birch because that's what we have for now. So now you can just open and close that door, and you don't have to worry about replacing the blocks all the time. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe go ahead and dig down. I have a shovel. Shovel is the best thing to use for dirt, by the way. Whenever I'm digging down, I like to... So you have 3 blocks in front of you. I like to dig the middle one, the next one, and then the next one down. And of course, like we were saying before, if you're at a point where you're a little bit above ground, you're going to have to make sure you're not opening everything so that mobs can't get in. But I know there's water right there on the other side of that we could see. So I'm standing here. I'm just going to dig the one in front of me. I'm going to dig the next one down and then one more down. And it creates like this staircase effect. And remember, you want to light the path as you go because you don't want things to spawn behind you. So again, we're going to dig the one in front, dig the one below it, and the one below it. So you're basically digging like 3 at a time to get one staircase. This right here is a cave. That is just a huge open area inside of the game. There's usually monsters and ore, and it's going to be an adventure down there, so you definitely want to make sure that you're a little bit prepared once you jump down into a cave. I don't really feel like we're to that point yet, but we did get some extra stone. So that yielded 20 stone just now, just that little bit of digging, so that's pretty good. So I like to spend the nights being productive underground. If I can avoid caves like this, I will. But if you want to just kind of branch out and do some digging around underground, we're going to be building a house here pretty soon. We're not going to continue to live in this little safe zone. Eventually, we're going to want something a little bit bigger with a little bit more room, and then we can have storage, and it'll just be a lot nicer once we move out of this place. We're going to need some materials to build our house out of, so grabbing a lot of cobble is definitely going to help with that. Remember, mining stone yields cobblestone. I have this part marked with a torch, but if you're afraid that you're going to fall in, that it would be perfectly acceptable to just cover that up for now. I'm not sure if I mentioned it during the last episode, but I want to go ahead and point out that as I'm using my stone pickaxe, it is starting to decay. The life of the pickaxe is diminishing every time I use it. And you can see that on the hotbar because some of my tools have a green bar and my pickaxe is in the red and it's about to break. And that's another good reason to be collecting resources. That way, as your tools break, you have materials already ready to create more. So since this is an episode about food, let's talk about the different types of food. There is crops that come from seeds or the crops themselves. So we have potatoes and carrots that are great. You just plant the potato and the carrot. There is no seed for that item. The only one that actually has a seed is wheat. So wheat has seeds, and then once you harvest the wheat, you actually get wheat and seeds both. But whenever you plant carrots, you only get carrots back. You just get multiple carrots and potatoes as well. With that being said, we have killed a couple of sheep in an attempt to get wool, and fortunately, they also drop their meat. So meat source is another way to fill up your hunger. And as you can see, I have 2 hunger pops that are missing, so that means that I am ready to eat. Sun is coming up. We can go and check our crop progress and see how it's going. But basically, raw meat at the top, fuel at the bottom, whether that's coal, charcoal, wood, and there are various other fuel sources that we can talk about later. And then you just take them and put them in your hand in the hot bar, and you use it, and it will eat it. I hear some enemies out there, which means that we may be up for a fight whenever we come out, so just beware. Now, here's something to think about. There's some animals walking around out here, and they have the ability to trample your crops, which basically means that your farmland would turn into dirt and the seeds would pop out. So eventually, we're going to want farmland that has fences around it to protect it from various animals and, even players, etc. So pigs will give you pork that you can cook. The chicken, it will give you chicken that you can cook. The cow gives beef. There's a cow over there. You really don't want to destroy all of your animals at the beginning of the game because you have the ability to breed them and make more. So you definitely don't want them to all be gone and then you'll have to search far and wide to find more. It's a lot easier if they're nearby whenever you get to that point and you're ready to actually breed animals. Whenever you're brand new to the game, it's very easy to get turned around. So it would be hard to tell that this is the hill that we live in compared to that hill or that hill over there. So one very simple way to mark where you live is by building a tower just made of dirt or cobblestone or any block that you have an abundance of at the time. I usually just look down at my feet and jump and place blocks. It's a great idea to do this next to water if you can. That way you can just jump right off and take no damage. But you might build it up nice and tall above the surrounding trees. I'm just going to use every piece of dirt that I have. Now, another thing to think about is that you might want to place some torches. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any coal up here with me. Double check your settings and find the sneak fly down button. Whatever that button is for you, you can hold that. You can hold that while you're on top of something and you will not fall off. See how I'm basically hovering over the edge? As long as a monster is not hitting me, I will not fall off as long as I continue to hold that button down. So a lot of times whenever you build this tower up, you may just place some torches on each side of your tower. That way it's even visible at night. But you can see that I'm nice and high in the air. And then from over there, if I'm wondering where my house is, I just look for my little tower. That way I can figure out where to go. As long as you jump off into the water, you will survive. Here's another source of food right here. You can right-click these and you can get berries. Be careful because these little bushes have thorns. But this is a good spot to come if you need food quick. You have a forest nearby, usually near spruce trees. That's what these darker trees are called, spruce. There is one thing to think about in terms of your crops. If you are not nearby, they will not grow. So you want to kind of stay in the area and work in the area to make sure that your crops will keep growing. If you wander off too far in any direction, then they won't grow. They'll just stay as they are. Now, we have different stages of growth here with the wheat. The initial seed looks like this when you first plant it. Then it starts to get into a stage that looks more like this, where it's taller, but it's not quite finished. There's also this stage right here, where it's very green and yellow. The stage that we're looking for is the final stage, which is this one right here. So once it's to this point, and then this one just grew as well. So we have 3 that are at the final stages here in this shot. So if you will just hit it, you will get not only seeds in return, you also get wheat. So you want to replant your seed. So grab that. And then you'll get extra seeds sometimes, which is great. And then go ahead and replant that. And now we have 3 wheat. Let me show you what we can do with 3 wheat. This is the whole point of growing these, is to create food. You can't eat the wheat just as it is, but you can craft it with a crafting table. So, now that we've got 3 wheat, go to your crafting table and you'll see bread. Bread is 3 wheat across, and you just grab it, and that's it. You got your first piece of bread. While we're waiting for night to pass, I'd like to invite you over to my Twitch channel. I stream live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 p.m. Central Time. We have a great community of Minecraft loving and playing friends that would be happy to help you if you're new to the game or if you're looking for friends to play with. I'll leave a link in the description below, and we would love to have you there. In this episode, we learn how to find seeds, plant them to create wheat. We learned about berry bushes. We learned about different animals that you can get meat from to cook. And we learned a couple of survivability tips that will help you find your base if you've been wandering around. The crop farming and the mob farming for food is a lot more in-depth than what I'm showing you here, but just remember that we are just learning the very basics of survival. This is only our 2nd day in the game, and so we want to keep it simple. Eventually, we can go into more details about the specifics and the mechanics more and how they work, but just remember, light, water, you're going to have crops in a couple of Minecraft days. Okay, so I've been doing some experimenting with the crops and the water, and it looks like this row of 6, the 6th one is hydrating and staying hydrated. The same for this row. All of these are hydrated. However, in this row of 6, the 6th one is not hydrating, and before I planted a seed here, it kept turning into dirt. And this row right here is of 5, and this one keeps turning into dirt. So it looks like, to be safe, you could definitely have 5 watered crops from the water source. The 6th one may or may not water. It's kind of confusing and doesn't seem clear to me at this moment, but maybe we can continue to do some more experimenting. If you've had any experience farming in the Bedrock Edition and would like to share your input, please leave a comment below. I would love to see if you have any ideas or explanation as to why this is happening. Okay, so after a lot of testing, it seems like my results are still inconclusive. you're gonna find that the water is hydrating in a very odd pattern that really makes no sense to me. I've been trying to science and think my way through this, so maybe I'm missing something. Quite often in Minecraft, you'll think that you know something, and it turns out you don't. Or maybe there were some changes in the game that you didn't realize. Whatever the reason may be, just be prepared to sometimes be wrong. Even when you're trying to make a video with helpful information to help other people, you might learn something yourself. So basically, this is a creative world of my... It's a copy of my world, but in creative mode, okay? So I used the same area, but what I did was I made all of these plots even across the edge so that we would be counting from the same starting point, just to simplify. But as you can see right here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 that are hydrated. The 5th one is not hydrated, but it was a little bit ago before I started recording this, so that part is confusing. And then we have 6, 7, and 8. But you can see that we're very far away from the other sources of water, so these are getting watered somehow. I don't know how. But regardless, you can see that these 1, 2, 3, 4, these two on the right-hand side are only watering up to 4 plots in, which is kind of what I originally thought regarding the water source and the water hydrating the earth. But then you've got these 2 rows that are just totally stumping me, so I don't even know what to think about it. I even cleared away some of this land right here to see if there was some hidden pocket of water that was secretly watering them behind my back and making this confusing for no reason, but I couldn't find any water sources under there. I also did another experiment. I have 1 water source, and from that 1 water source, the land is hydrated 4 plots out from the water on each side. This one has not stumped me in any way. This is exactly how I thought it would be. So I honestly don't understand what is going on with these plots over here. So my advice to you is stick with the 4, like we talked about originally. If for some reason other ones are being hydrated, that's great. Otherwise, I think that if you stick with the rule of 4 blocks away from the water will be hydrated, then you'll be good. Mainly, this experiment has taught me that I don't always know everything, and it's kind of fun to realize that there's sometimes hidden things in the game that you can maybe understand, hopefully at some point. Maybe there's some of you out there that understand what is going on that I'm just not seeing it. If you would like to leave me a comment and let me know what you think is going on, please do. I'm gonna have to move on from this experiment though, because this has taken a lot of time just reading and Googling and watching plants and crops grow, and I'm ready to move on from this. So I hope that you guys appreciate the fact that I tried to figure it out, and even though I don't have an answer for these 2 rows over here, then rest assured that at least we know for sure that if you only use 4 blocks away from the water, you should be good to go. So thank you guys for being patient with me during this video. This is definitely not what I expected to happen during the recording of this video, is to discover that I didn't know something I thought that I knew is a hard and fast rule. Alright, we're back in survival mode. This is the normal, regular world that we've been playing in. And you can see that it's raining now, and So all the experimenting that we did before isn't really going to matter when it's raining, because the rain will hydrate your plots no matter where they are. So in this case, all I know is we're going to get a lot of wheat out of this harvest right here once it's all done. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.